Hi guys, I want to make a video to go over how to make this artist statement with some things that I think need pointing out. So I'm going to kind of do this like it's my own. I found this little piece of artwork online that's just silly, but I'm going to fill this out and show you some things that I notice are tripping you up. The first thing I want to address is that some of you aren't sure what's happening here when you see these brackets. Think of these brackets like a fill in the blank. So what you would do here is when it says artist name here, you don't go over here and write, all right, I'm going to pretend like I'm a kid right now, so as to not confuse you. So if I'm a student, I'm not going to write that here. You're supposed to use this bracket as a fill in the blank. So here's how you do it. You highlight what's in there, and then I'm going to write, but then you don't leave it like this, because then the fill in the blank blanks are still showing. You get rid of these brackets. So the brackets are intended to show you what goes there. And I know a lot of people in iDiploma use these brackets, but I noticed that a lot of you are unclear on how to use them. So the title of my work is Man Contemplating Existence. All right, so mine necessarily is not going to be an environmental issue. I'm just showing you how to fill this out. So you get rid of the brackets. I noticed on the work you did on those slide decks recently, most of you left the brackets. A lot of you left the instructions too. There were only a few people that got that. Those are just placeholders for you to get rid of. All right, so I have that. Now, the first thing I think that might give you trouble is up here. You're going to put your work, a picture of it here. So that's either like a little picture you take if you're making a physical collage out of things that you find around your house or your yard, or you're going to put a screenshot of the digital collage that you've made after you learn Photoshop. So there's a few things I want to show you to make this easy. I put this placeholder here, so hopefully that'll help you. But when you are putting in your picture, I want you to make you aware of these settings. If these are changed, you can see it drastically alters the template, and you might look at that and just freak out. Well, you can always Control Z out of that. One Control Z, two Control Z, but just make sure that you have wrap text selected here. When you click on this, these controls come up, but wrap text will allow your title and your name to appear over here and this to appear in the same line. I leave this as fixed position on page because when I start altering the text, I don't want this to move around. Now these extended dots that give you options are important here because I'm going to click all image options so you can see. If you paste something in and it's giant, you're going to go here to make it fit into this little spot. And what I've done is two things I want to call your attention to. I click lock aspect ratio. What that does is that doesn't allow me to like stretch it out so wide that it looks distorted. Control Z. It won't let me like make it taller than it's supposed to be and stretch it tall or stretch it wide. This keeps the length and the width locked together. So if I increase one, the other increases. So that allows you to go over here and make this width like 1.5 inches whenever you put your image in. So then the height will change automatically. So if I were to change that to 2, you can see the height changes as well. All right, but just for the sake of argument here, let's leave this around 1.5 inches, and leave all this 100% scale. We already did the text wrapping. We wanted to wrap the text, meaning that it can be in the same line. I haven't played with that. Margins from the text, you don't have to do much with that unless your title is super long and it's coming right up to the picture. Then you probably want a little left or right cushion there between. Play with that. So let me show you what that looks like in real life. All right, so I've already taken a picture of my collage. And now I need to insert it in that corner. So I'm going to say insert image. I'm going to upload it from my computer. It's going to be in one of a couple different places. You can always check document, desktop, or downloads if you're not sure where it is. But there's mine. It's right in documents. It's where I have those set to save. And then you go, it's way too big. All right, so you click on the image to bring up these controls. And a real easy way to make it the right size is just go right over here and go ahead and put your 1.5 inches. See, you can see the height changes automatically to match. And this is a square piece, so there it is. Now it's small at least. Now, if you remember the other thing I taught you, you'll know that you need to hit wrap text right there. So now you can kind of get a feel for what that does, but it's way in the wrong place. So I'm going to click and hold. I'm going to drag him over here and see what kind of positioning I can get on him. All right, so here is what I was saying before. You got to get rid of all these placeholders. So tap on this, hit the delete key, get rid of that. Now, this isn't bad the way it is, but let me show you what to do if you want it more up in that corner. So let's scroll down here. You can see all these controls, top, bottom, margins. Let's open this position. And opened it. Scroll down. Think of this as the X and Y axis in algebra. So the Y would control his up and down movements here. So I'm going to click on this until I get him where I want. X controls left to right. I don't want him to go more left. Let me make sure I have him as right as I can get him. Maybe not as right as I can get him. So I have the margins set pretty big on this. So there he is. He's in the corner. Pretty good way. I'd like to move him up a little, but I might have to play with negative y-axis. When I tried that before, it didn't work. Now I want to take these handles off of my picture so I don't mess him up anymore. I'm going to click back on the page like this. So now I've got my little collage there, man contemplating existence, deep title, and you can see, look, he's pretty happy with his existence. So now you go over here to this part. What I like to do when I write this is I want to be able to see these instructions as I go. So I'm going to leave them there to start with. And I know that I'm going to write a first person written message that includes the following: the overall general message of your piece. Yours is going to be about your environmental issue and the message you're trying just to slap people in the face with and cause some change of them. So I'm going to write about my overall impression of the piece, what I wanted to do with it, then the environmental issue you're passionate about with this piece, the symbols and metaphors in the piece, and what you want people to hope, and what you hope and want people will do or feel as they view this work. All right, so I can do that. I'm just going to do that off the top of my head in a real quick way. I want you to put a lot of thought and meaning behind yours, but for the purposes of this, I'm going to just write, I created this piece. So now I'm ready to put in my main paragraph of my statement. So what I've done is, and I kind of recommend that you might want to do this too. This is just something I do a lot of times when I fill out forms or do other things. I open a doc in another tab, and I wrote what I wanted to write over there. Sometimes I like to look at things out of context of where they go. And then it's just easy for me to go over here and copy this, run back over, and then you can highlight whatever it is you need to go away. And by the way, this last thing here explains that you need to not leave any of these brackets. While I have it highlighted, I'm just going to hit Command V or Control V and put in the piece that I made. Now you can see a couple things here. This is block text, so I didn't need to indent. Kind of for an artist statement, you want it to look a little bit edgy and cool. This is, because of the way we have this wrapped right here, it doesn't do this, it does this. Come on. Control Z, put it back over there. And I need to take the handles off so anything I do right now will mess with him. All right, so I've got this. Let's make sure it has all his pieces. I created this piece. So as I was doing this, let me point something out. I started looking at him and I was like, oh, man contemplating his existence. I think I have a better title for this now. So as you start to do this introspective work, you might begin to have more new, different ideas about your piece, and that's fine. So I'm going to change it to mankind emerging, because I don't mean man like the gender, I mean man like people. Mankind emerging, capitalized, names in your title. Okay, so here I wrote, and having changed the title, I might change a few things, but I put why I created this piece, what I wanted to do here. This piece is meant to shine a light on this aspect of mental health. It talks about existential crisis. The issue concerns me most is sometimes people feel ostracized and alienated. Da, da, da. Why am I here? All right, I did that. Now the symbolism, the images in this piece are meant to evoke certain feelings in the viewer and mirror some of my own feelings. So this is why I added the symbols. The dark brown slab in the back represents mankind's dark past that we wish to grow and move away from. The green waves underneath symbolize that this transformation from shameful past to happiness comes in waves. And the green color represents new life and growth. All right, I just grabbed this little image from the internet because I thought it was funny, and I just made all that up. But that's an example of how you would explain the symbolism. I could go on to talk about the belt and how it looks like a stoplight turned sideways and how deep I could go with that. That'd be super cool. Why his legs are rectangles, why his little fingers look like bloody claws. You know, you can just go crazy with the symbolism here. But the figure is forward, smiling with his arms raised to the heavens in victory, representing that he has emerged from the darkness with a full heart and an enthusiasm which makes him happy, thus the smile. So this is when I started thinking about the quarantine, when I said all this about he's emerged from the darkness. So I've got a pretty decent artist statement here, but did you notice what I didn't put here? I didn't put what I want people to do or feel when they see this. So I'll go up here and add this. My intent is that so I could put something more about how I also want to remind everyone that after the darkness, you know, comes this dawn, and that it's always there, something like that. Yours will be more about what kind of action do you want people to take towards your environmental issue. All right, so we pretty much got that statement looking good. I could do a whole nother paragraph on what my intent is and things like that, but I'm pretty comfortable with that. And this is a silly, not a very complex piece. So I'm going to stop that writing there. Now I'm going to read over it 2 times. All right, so I want to show you specifically how to cite your scientific study, because there is a correct way to do it. So you can see that this template is a 9 font. So you want to keep all the fonts and font sizes the way they are on your template screen. That's what a template is for, to show you what it should look like. So I'm going to go back over to my worksheet where I'm kind of working out all this. So I've copied and pasted the rules for making a good journal citation here so that I can just work and look up and do this. So I copied and pasted the author's name. Now this is important. Almost all of these studies have 8 or 10 authors, maybe more, maybe less. You don't have to write them all out. So what I did for this one was I took the first one, and then you write this Latin that says et al. That means Samantha K and everyone else. Let me make sure. Oh, I see it lost her last name. So I'm going to go back and get this again. I'm pretty sure her name is not Samantha K. It's Samantha K. Brooks. So I'm going to copy that over, go over to my worksheet, and I'm going to paste in Samantha K. It did again, but now I know her name is Brooks. And she is a PhD, which means that's her doctorate. And then I'm going to put there already was a comma. And I'm not going to worry right now that this is orange. I'll show you what to do about that in a minute. But the important thing is that I put et al., meaning Samantha K. Brooks and all her little science nerdy buddy friends that wrote this. All right, so now my next thing is I'm going to go up here and look, and I put the title of the article. So I'm going to look over here, copy and paste this title, and you can see that I pasted it right in. It's giant. I don't care right now. I'm going to fix that in a minute. Okay, so at the end of the title, I put a period and quotations. Do this exactly like the example. So you'll have to slow down and really think about this bit by bit to do it right. Now I need the name of the journal in italics. So I'm going to look over here and I find I've got the Lancet. Whoa, that's hard to copy. I want all of this. So I'm going to copy it just like that. No. Oh, that's an image. Darn. Okay. So what I'll do is I will copy this, put it in my worksheet. This is one of the main reasons I have this little worksheet for weird things like this. All right, so I got the title. It didn't give me the meat and potatoes that I need, which is the volume, issue, page numbers, all that good stuff. Let's try this again. You can be doing yours along with me if you like. That's a good idea. Okay, so now I know that I can put the name of the journal, capitalized please, is the Lancet. I want this italicized. And then you can see that I need a comma after that. I know it seems picky, but there's a formula to doing all kinds of citations. You always want to look that up before you try to make a citation. So I've got I need the volume number, page numbers, and date. So all of this is already laid out just like I need it. I don't think I have to copy this again. I think I already have it copied, but you know. Now this is not supposed to be in italics, so I'm going to let that ride. That's good right now. Got that. Now I need the actual link to the study. So I'm just going to really simply go up here, do a copy, come back here, paste. Now you're like, but this looks cruddy. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to highlight the font and everything, just a little bit of it. I'm going to take a section. I'm going to go up here and hit the paint roller. This paint roller is going to change the font of anything I paint with it. So now I'm going to paint this whole thing by holding down. Now you see I've got something that looks good. Let me get rid of this. Is there anything there that needs fixing? Let's do PhD correctly. And I think that looks good. Oh, I do see something wrong. My caps went away. So you've got to look it over. You can't just assume because you did that it's done. I also need to make sure the Lancet is no longer italicized. So I probably should have just waited and done that type of formatting after because the paintbrush didn't realize I needed that. So you can just capitalize the main words in the title. Rapid review of evidence. All right, I'm just doing a quick job of this, and then the journal is called the Lancet. I'm going to italicize that. And everything else I think looks good. This doesn't look like a link anymore, so let me make sure that it's linked. It's not what I meant to do. All right, I can do that when I get over to my artist statement. Now you copy this. So that seemed a little tedious, right? But in doing that, I know I've got it right now. So I'm going to copy this whole thing because I need to get rid of the brackety part. I'm going to paste in what I've got. And I actually have another article too here, which is another study that follows what I'm trying to say about quarantine, kind of proves that what I'm doing here is not just something I feel, it's proven by science. So now the last thing I need to do for this artist statement is move this down to the bottom of the page. Just kind of, I'm going to get rid of this because I like and I'm going to Control or Command minus. And now I want to see how this looks aesthetically. Okay, so you can see that this looks a little weird like this. So I'm going to move my text down off of that picture like this. And you can see my page break is right here at the bottom of this page. So I think I'm going to move this up just a little so I can ensure that nothing gets cut off. Huh. Oh no. I think that's how I want it right there. Kind of like that. So now my artist statement is done. All right, and if I needed to link that or do anything else with it, let me show you one other thing. I made the backgrounds of these light green because they are environmental, and also I thought that'd be an easy way to separate them, make the words come out of the page nicely. But you can go up here in page setup, and you can change that to whatever you want. They don't all have to be the same. I would caution you that you need to pick one of these very light background colors in the third row if you don't pick white, so that you don't want your text to be hidden, or you want it to be easy for the person to read. All right, so hopefully that helps. See ya. Have a great day.